regionally, nationally, and internationally. So we have 1,100 centers and branches around the world, all founded by Geshe Kelsang Gyatso. And George, I'm going to just tell you, I come from a journalism background. I always check things out. I'm a checker.
Yep.
Ever since I was a kid, I was always asking the priest, why? I like to question. And so I really checked Geshe Kelsang Gyatso. I went to his festivals, I heard him teach. I just sort of stood back and watched what he was doing. And I will be honest, I can honestly say there are very few, if any, people who are quietly changing our world like Geshe Kelsang Gyatso, because what he is doing is giving us just tools on how we don't have to yell at the kids, or we don't have to, follow our attachment. We can choose to love versus hate. We can be different and still accept each other. There's many minds that Geshe is teaching us through all these books behind me are his. He's written them, and we followed these books because we believe, you dig one hole, you can get deep. You dig many holes, you're kind of like going shallow. So it's not that you only can read these books when you come here, but when you come and become ordained, like me, and you're a teacher, that's what we do. We follow these books to train our minds, right? So when I'm teaching, I use Geshe's books, and yes, every day I have a service here. We do chanted prayers every day here. Everyone's welcome to attend these chanted prayers. And pretty much almost every day we've got some sort of meditation class that we offer here. We also do community outreach. So I've gone to St. Mary's, not charging, help social workers who are helping kids who are kind of temporarily pulled out of their families because of maybe domestic violence or drug abuse, and helped the social workers through meditation, because there's a lot of what they call it in the industry compassion burnout. And so I help them navigate that through with some Buddhist wisdom and meditation. Go to schools, high schools. We've gone to Moses Brown, Wheeler, Providence Day Country. Go to Whole Foods, teach the team members down there. We've been around.
Yep.
My wish actually is to team up more with people of addiction.
We would love to have you.
Because, to be honest with you, I don't have a car, so I am kind of like right now isolated on the east side. I just came to Providence as a resident teacher in the fall, so in October, so I've been here a shorter amount of time. But my wish is to really expand out into those neighborhoods that really need this and want this. There's going to be people who don't want it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not a processizer. I'm not trying to convert anyone or change anyone. In fact, there's a lot of people who come through our services who are Christian, who are Jewish, but just don't want to yell at the kids so much, or just want to have more peace of mind, don't want to worry, don't want to be so anxious. We offer those kinds of tools. So what's nice about Buddhism is it can be a philosophy adjunct to your own religion, or it can be a religion, a spiritual path.
Right. So
everybody gets to choose which path they would like to take with it.
I have a couple of questions on there about that too.
Yeah.
That's really incredible. You've been doing this, but can you describe a typical religious service? Do they start and end at certain times?
Yeah, so most of our, what we just call talks, our classes happen during the week. We've got Sunday meditation. We've got a kids and family in the morning before that. So kids and family come together and they learn how to view their world in a different way. They meditate a little bit, and then we do an activity that connects with the teaching so they can take it home and remember what they've learned. We were small. You can see we're a small place, but we had 20 kids and family in here last week. And so what's great is those 20 kids and parents are going out and showing an example. And that has, as you know, a ripple effect. It's like a stone on the water. It ripples out into the community. So maybe hundreds of people are being impacted by those 20, showing that example. So our whole purpose with all our classes is it's not intellectual. It's not about just doing it because you have to. It's about personally wanting to change your life and be an example. And through that example, experiencing an inner peace that is really the source of your happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our classes are all structured. We usually start with a meditation, we have a talk, we end with a meditation, and usually we'll have interspersed within that Q&A, so people can ask questions as we're going along, so we're being clear about what we're hearing and how to integrate it into our daily life.
Nice. Is there a religious authority or hierarchy with your religion, similar to the Catholicism?
Yeah. So Geshe Kelsang Cholki is our founder, and so in our tradition, he set it up amazingly. Actually, it's like a checks and balances. So we have someone called a General Spiritual Director, a GSD, happens to be a nun, who oversees all 1,100 centers. We're based in England, so this is where our mother center is located in Ulverston, England, at Manjushri Kadampa Buddhist Center.
Wow.
And so there's an education council that meets, and she's a part of that council. Then we have what's called a deputy spiritual director, and that happens to be someone from our United States group, Kadampa, and he's a monk, and so he's on that council, education council, with our general spiritual director and our deputy. He's a deputy. They oversee all 1,100 centers around the world, branches. It's centers and branches. So I have a branch where I go to Attleboro, I have a branch where I go to Worcester, so it counts all of it, just centers and branches, 1,100. Okay, so then from there, it's gorgeous. Each country has its own national spiritual director. So we've got, the United States is big, so we've got 3. We've got Gen Rigpa, who oversees the West. We have Gen Damo, who oversees the Midwest. And we get Gen Kadam Morton, who's a lay practitioner. And Kadam literally just means teacher, and Gen means teacher. So when you have been a teacher at a center for 4 or more years successfully, then you get this title. Okay. So Kadam Morton oversees the East, Gen Damo in the Midwest, and then Gen Rigpa on the West Coast. Each country has that.
Wow.
So we're on all continents, and each one has a national spiritual director. Because the United States is so big, we've got 3.
Right.
So, and then within those regions, we've got centers. So each center has a resident teacher, has an admin director, and an education program coordinator. So I don't touch money. I love that because it keeps it super clean. My job is spiritual. My job is to help others to meet these teachings, understand them, and hopefully practically put them into their daily life. Our admin director looks over all the financial stuff, changes the lights, does all the things that need, if you can believe it, is volunteer. So our admin director is a dad who works for himself and donates his time. Our education program coordinator is the same, Angela. She also is married and has just starting her own business recently. She's been working in hospitals, and she's now launching her own business. So still volunteering for the center, though. It's pretty amazing.
Wow.
So each center's set up that way. So there's a resident teacher, there's an admin director, there's an EPC, and then usually, if you're fortunate, you've got a treasurer as well. James is kind of working as our admin and our treasurer, but we hope we'll have a treasurer soon. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's sort of the structure. Geshe is very kind. He's created like a moral discipline guide on sort of checks and balances. So it's kind of like our constitution, if you will, so that we're very clear of how we behave, what our jobs are, what our jobs are not.
Right,
And it keeps it very clean and clear, right? So it's a real kindness on Geshe to...
Now, is Geshe, he's still alive?
He is still alive, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Is there a religious... can you describe what takes place at your most significant religious ceremony?
Sure. So I'll tell you locally, and I'll tell you regionally and then internationally, okay? So locally, once a year, I give what's called an empowerment. So we just had one up here is Arya Tara. You can see her on the wall, far right. She's the first to appear in a female form as an enlightened being. So enlightenment just means an awakened, it means awakened one, but it means an inner light of wisdom that is completely free from mistaken appearance and functions to bestow blessings on all living beings. That's an enlightened being. Sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So Aryatara is a female form. So what we do is a guided meditation where we're connecting her body, speech, and mind with your body, speech, and mind through this meditation, and then bestowing these blessings on your, remember I talked about that root mind, that continually residing mind, so that you can actually make a connection with her. So she is a Buddha of compassion and wisdom. So when we need to cultivate more compassion and wisdom in our mind, as Buddhists, we rely on the three jewels, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, right? Buddha is obviously Buddha. Dharma is Buddha's teachings, and then Sangha is the community that puts those teachings into practice. So the function of that empowerment, which was Aryatara, actually we just had it in March, is to make that connection with her body, speech, and mind so you can increase your capacity of compassion and wisdom by relying on her, right? So she's on your mental continuum now, and then you can call upon her to help you, guide you in times when, a lot of times we might feel unable, we might feel scared, we might feel overwhelmed, right? So we need help. And obviously we rely on our community, our spiritual community, but at 3 o'clock in the morning, they can't always come, right? But she'll always be there. So we cultivate this connection with her through the empowerment. So that happens locally. Then we have these celebrations that happen regionally. We have them nationally. We just finished, I came back from our U.S. festival that happens where all the centers around the nation come together once a year and get these empowerments, so on the celebration and the festival. And then internationally, we've got 3. We've got 2 that happen in England, spring and summer. And then fall, each year, a different country is chosen, and we go to that country for the empowerment, teachings, and meditation.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. Yeah.
Do you feel like you experienced any particular challenges or obstacles due to your religion?
This is a good question. Do I experience any challenges or obstacles with my religion? I wouldn't say with my religion, I would say with my mind. My mind is the one that creates the obstacles, not my religion. Religion's perfect.
Yeah.
Buddhism is perfect. Buddha's perfect. Dharma's perfect. The Sangha is perfect. It's my mind that fabricates stories and then relates to those stories as if they're true. And so it's my own mind that creates those obstacles. Those obstacles of pain, those obstacles of, suffering are all coming from my mind. So I would say that all my obstacles are coming from my mind. My spiritual practice, my religion, Buddhism is perfect.
Are you open with others about your religion?
Absolutely. I'm a walking advertisement, man. What's so great though is I'm not in the vocabulary. I'm a Buddhist nun.
Right.
A lot of people think I'm a monk.
Right.
And they'll call me a monk, and I'm cool with that. Whatever. It's just a name. But even this isn't always in the vocabulary of people. Meaning they don't know what these robes mean.
Right.
So sometimes I'll be walking on. It's interesting. It's usually when I'm in a store like Walmart or something. A woman will come, I like that outfit. They think I'm like choosing this outfit. They just look at my outfit. I like that outfit. It looks good on you, they'll say. And they don't know who I am. They don't know what these robes mean. But
so give us a little description. What do the robes mean?
Well, the robes, we wear these robes. These robes are blessed. They come from all the way back to Buddha Shakyamuni, through again that lineage of Tsongkhapa, these robes. So they have meaning. So I'm wearing a skirt, which is called a shantab, and on the bottom of the skirt is like a little, it's like a panel of fabric that goes like, it looks like a fence, actually, because it's vertical. This is horizontal. Excuse me, is that right? This is vertical and that's horizontal.
Yeah.
And like a fence. And this is symbolizing this bottom part, our moral discipline. Like a fence, we've got to put moral discipline around our mind to hold back from harming others. Because that's one of the main tenets of Buddhism, do no harm.
Do no harm.
And then this I fold it 4 ways, and it symbolizes the 4 noble truths of Buddhist teachings. No suffering, so the first one is no suffering, no origins,